Today we're joined once again by Field Development Manager for Valent USA, Pat Clay, to talk about getting ahead of pest problems as we get started here in the new year. So, Pat, let's start generally with a pest that's been fairly problematic for growers, peach twig borer, and let's just begin here with just the basics of what type of threat this particular pest poses for growers.
Sure. And when I think about peach twig borer, I think about, quality of the nut and then also potential for damage to the tree and the young wood and scaffolds of the tree can be impacted by peach twig borer. So you can have the short-term yield effects and then long-term damage to the tree.
And in terms of just kind of recent years, it's something that we generally talk about from one year to the next. But what might have been some experiences that we saw last year? Is this a fairly significant problem, something that comes up pretty often and growers are generally kind of always on the lookout for?
Definitely always on the lookout for it, but there are some areas of the state where we typically have heavier infestations and it's spotty around. So really have to pay close attention to monitoring programs, looking at the quality reports that you're getting back from your hauler sheller, seeing if you had any damage turning up in the nuts, monitoring the trees for the, I'll call it tunneling that you might see on the shoots and spurs, and just ever keeping a mindful eye and watchful eye out for it, and making treatment decisions based on that.
And so that's one of the aspects that you're going to take into consideration is just maybe years prior and what kind of issues you've had there. But and that's going to kind of dictate some of your monitoring processes if you have a fairly bad problem with it or not. But always something you want to monitor for. And at this point in the season, what's going to be the best kind of approach for growers to maybe head this problem off before it becomes real apparent?
Well, this time of year, dormant sprays are highly effective for managing peach twig borer. Asana XL or Espen Valerate is a very effective product that's available, and can also be incorporated with oil if you have San Jose scale problems. So it's a really nice option for the dormant period for managing that pest. If the dormant period gets by you, there is still opportunity during the bloom and catching those first emerging insects that come out during bloom. But really during bloom, broad spectrum insecticide sprays are not recommended due to potential issues with pollinators. So, if you get into that bloom season, properly timed applications of dipel are also highly effective for managing the pest.
And now, kind of in that same conversation as you're making those applications during dormancy, you're also monitoring for scale and things like that as well. So let's kind of go into that a little bit of what kind of approach for scale. Are you able to kind of knock both of these out, or kind of get a program going to take care of these both at the same time?
Both at the same time or a program. So, like I mentioned before, oils can be very effective for managing scale as well. But a lot of times our populations or scale are a little bit higher than oil is capable of bringing down. So that's where a dormant or even delayed dormant application of something like a C's insect growth regulator is highly effective, and it's very narrow spectrum. So it's pretty friendly to the beneficial insects that are still out there during the wintertime, and really does a nice job of bringing those populations down and limiting the number of insects that you have emerging in the spring. So it really effective at impacting the several generations of scale insects with that properly timed seeds application.
And now, just because weather is going to dictate a lot of things that you're actually able to accomplish out in orchards, we've had a bit of rain. It looks like there might be a little bit more coming up here on the horizon. So, what's going to be kind of the best approach? Is weather going to impact how these maybe interact, or how you're going to approach your application timing in terms of if we've got rain in the forecast at all?
Um, Obviously, with rain in the forecast, you want to hold off when you can have a period of 6 to 8, 12 hours of rain-free period after the application to get the best results out of them. But really and truly, until bloom and leaf out, you can have highly effective dormant sprays of either Asana or Seas for managing both of these pests.